So I'm Edward Gent. I farm here with my family in South Lincolnshire. We're just on the Lincolnshire-Cambridgeshire border. We farm about 800 hectares and we've been farming in a regen way for about 16 years. So I think sustainability has two different aspects. The first one is financial. I need to still be a business that makes profit to be able to invest it in the future. And then the second one is the environmental aspects. Really, I think biodiversity and carbon are the main ones that I'm interested in. The kind of main things that we focus on is reducing cultivations, then trying to make sure the soil's covered, so adding cover crops in, and then reducing synthetic inputs and replacing them with more organic materials like manures and things like that. When you kind of transition to a more regenerative system and reducing cultivations, sometimes the years are good and sometimes the years aren't kind to you. It kind of depends a lot on the weather. But what we see is when you first transition, you sometimes see some issues as your soil biology starts to develop and build back up. But it's really important that you kind of stay patient and keep on the goal that is coming when the soil is better. And now 16 years on, we're much lower inputs and much more profitable. So the SFI is the Sustainable Farming Incentive. It was brought in to replace the BPS income that we used to get, and it's obviously looking to reward farmers that are doing more sustainable practices. So we've joined the SFI, we've got the no insecticides payment, we're looking at the companion crop payment, we've got some cover crop payments, the no tillage one is going to be really interesting, and then we've got some herbal lays coming in, and then we're also really interested in probably the more of the alternative ones like agroforestry, and then supplying some hedges and things like that. We're really encouraged by the new SFI payments that we're going to get, and they're really rewarding things that we really want to do on our farm. So it encourages us to really think about how we can get more cover crops into the system, and also leave more areas for biodiversity. Really, my ethos is looking after the soil, and these payments are really focused on making sure that I'm doing that in the right way, and can afford to do that. So what the real benefit I think that brings to me as a business is bringing more resilience into our business. As the soil gets better, I believe our profitability will get better. So I think that the SFI funding has been really great. It's allowed us to do more areas like this, which is obviously standing in a wildflower meadow here, which has definitely seen a lot more wildlife on the farm. I can definitely physically see it as I drive around. There's much more birds than there used to be, and then it's also really, I think, encourages us to think about how we can implement more practices like cover cropping. Now there's a payment for it. It's really thinking about how we can maximise the amount of cover crops we can get in the rotation. When we talk about sustainability, financial performance of the farm is really important, otherwise I'm not going to be able to do any sustainability. And for us that really means working with more people, so working with local farmers. We host some businesses here. We've got an insect farming business that rent one of our units. And then also diversifying our crop rotation to maximise the different opportunities and also to lower our risk as a business. So I think two key practices to highlight is reducing our chemical usage. We haven't used insecticides on this farm for around 7 years, and we've seen benefits to that, obviously both in our financial performance, we haven't had to spend that money, but also just we've seen a lot more insects and wildlife around. And then the second one is machinery. Now we do a full no-till system, which we've kind of been running for around 16 years. That means we've got a lot less machinery and capital tied up in that enterprise, which allows us kind of capital then left over to invest into different projects, and we use that money to invest in a chicken egg rearing operation. So if you're a farmer that hasn't got involved in the SFI yet, I definitely encourage you to look at it and think about how the different options in the kind of menu of options is going to fit into your farm to maximise the goals you want to deliver on your farm.
Hello, I'm Edward Gent. I'm a farmer from South Lincolnshire. So in the last 10 to 15 years we've been farming regeneratively, moving less soil and leaving more green covers. And over that period of time, we've seen certainly more wildlife abundant on the farm. Owls easily seen going across the long grass, and deer running out of the grass when we're driving about. A lot of hares in this area. And what we do is make sure the soil, for a start, is in good condition. We take soil samples, and we do organic matter samples regularly. We keep the soil as nice as we can. We put on manures to keep that right, and we keep cover crops growing, and that allows the soil to have more biology growing in it. We monitor this to make sure the soil's healthy, and then we get a healthy crop. So we then monitor the crop by leaf tissue or sap analysis regularly, and we keep adding nutrition at various times, and that sort of approach keeps a healthy plant, which helps us to deliver a crop with putting less synthetic materials on it. The use of manure on the farm has increased over the last 10 to 15 years as more AD manure has become available, and we've been quite focused on that as a better supply of nutrients than synthetic, more healthy for the soil and the plant. Risk management is very important in a farming business, and I see the sustainable farming as a good management tool. We have a much more diverse set of cropping and income streams that are less risky over the whole business. We're less focused on individual crops but more focused on the big picture. Varied income from different schemes like the SFI, some different cropping in there. We've got more perennial cropping in grass lays and herbal lays, and it spreads the risk over the whole farming enterprise. Other forms of income that work well with sustainable farming are direct selling schemes where you can grow crops for wild farmed, and that would be a more sustainable approach and using less artificial inputs. Other forms of income are carbon credits that you may be able to receive from moving less soil on your farm. The journey to a more sustainable farming system is quite a slow journey. You do have to be focused on it and commit yourself to do it. You need to focus on the soil for a start and increase soil health and biology, keep a green cover. Move with the least amount of soil you can just to get crops established and get more confident in that sort of approach. It's definitely worth it over time, but you need to be committed to do it.